So I got this email from Anthropic and their Claude service, which I subscribe to. And yeah, immediately when you see something like this, you say, oh, $1,000. Few seconds after reading $1,000, I realized, it's Claude Code for web. So basically they're encouraging you to trial the Claude Code on the web, which is presumably something that just runs not on your machine, but in the cloud, and does what Claude Code does, but off your machine. So I said, yeah, okay, I'll do that. That sounds good. Now, if I log into Claude, you can click on the code section. It then comes up with, okay, do you want no network access? So basically the coding agent in the cloud will have totally constrained, trusted network access, so a specific set of sources, or full network access. I'm going to go with full network access given the sort of work I'll apply this to, which is primarily my own stuff, not for customers in this case. Okay, so it's a research preview. Got $1,000 worth of credit, and I have to use it by November 18. It's not that far away. 12 days. Shit, that's really close. Now, already linked up GitHub, my GitHub account, so it's detected various repos. It hasn't listed all of them. I thought you should be able to see my talk website. Repo missing. Install the Claude GitHub app in a private repository on GitHub itself. Yeah. So how do you do apps? Let's find out how. So I'll install it as myself. I'll use it on my repos. And given the sort of repos associated with my account, I'm going to do all. And I'm going to have to have a look at Authenticator and find my GitHub account and type in the code, temporary code. Okay, so presumably it's all done. So if I go back to here and refresh and select repository, yep, there it is. Okay, so this is how you write code. What's an environment? Oh, I see. You can have different network access environments and some environment variables. Okay. But what I want to do is run it off a branch. Okay. I'm using the new Claude Code for web, and I want to give it a task to do on a specific branch. Do I have to instruct it in the prompt, or can I give it both a repo and a specific branch when I set it up, or is it only you can only give it the repo and then do the rest by prompting? Yeah, this reckons there isn't a way to set up a separate branch. Okay, I'm going to think through what sort of prompt, what sort of task can I give it to test it out, and come back to this later. Okay, I've decided on what I'm going to try and get Claude Code on the web to do. I think it's going to be a bit of a tall order. It's not really a coding task. It's very much a documentation task, but it's a useful experiment. So what I have is I've just recently updated my professional website and reinstated some blog posts that I created years ago. You can see there's a big gap between 2012 and 2025 in terms of posting. I want to sort of fill that in to show the work that was done and make them available for web searches for content that matches aspects of the technical work that I've done that people may be interested in. But I don't want to write all that, do all that effort myself. I want to leverage what I've already done. Now, what I have been doing for a good portion of my work life is write daily reports and document the work I'm doing. So this is an example of a visual touchscreens project, an internal R&D project that didn't end up going anywhere, but there's a bunch of work that was done that would be useful to generate blog posts from. Now, this was what I used to do, is send emails to myself for this particular project on a daily basis, and then there was a .NET utility I used to scrape it from Outlook emails and generate this Word document. So what I've done is taken the 2 years worth of Word documents and put them into a GitHub repo in a branch, because I don't want these docx's to litter the Git repo on main, but I do want this to be available to Claude Code to process. So what I want Claude Code on the web to do, which I don't know if it's going to be able to do it, is read these docs and generate blog posts that fit the content structure that's already there. So there's a content structure where I organize the blog posts into years, then it has a certain naming standard, and then the images are put in a certain location. I also have a set of styling rules, rewording for the blog, if I want to just do a stream of consciousness sort of thing and get that converted for me to edit. And then there's just some agent rules about categories and that sort of thing. So there's a lot already there that Claude Code for the web can leverage. I'm just going to see what happens. Give it a pretty hefty, it's not a coding task, it's a documentation task, and see how it goes. So this is the first time I'm using this, and identified that you can't specify a particular branch. So I'm just going to copy something I pre-prepared earlier, and I'm just going to run through it with you. So I've instructed it which branch to work on. I told it where to find the docs. Told it what the docs basically are and what I intend to do in terms of the blog posts, which images to include and exclude, general approaches, some context for how to write, and let's see if this is enough, whether it baffs. This is my first time using it, so it'll be just as much a surprise to me as it is going to be to you. Let's see how it goes. Flibbity-gibbiting. Okay. I'm going to probably just let it go and not record it. I don't know how long this will take. Oh, it looks like down the bottom you can do create a PR. Yeah, interesting. It didn't find the bloody files. Did it follow my instructions that I want it to be in the actually, let me see. It's going to pause something. Okay, looks like I can instruct it while it's going in it. Okay. It still hasn't found the docs file. Oh! It says it's switched. I don't get it. They're there. Let me see. Yeah, they're definitely there. I'm curious to know if I can take a screenshot. Can I give that to it? No. So it makes an assumption that's in the Claude. Not. I don't get it. Why can't it see the friggin' branch? Visual dash touchscreen dash blog. Oops. Dash. I found it. Did I paste it in wrongly? No, I didn't. Yeah, finally found it. Let's see if it can convert the Word docs to text. Here's a bit of a tall order. It needs to convert it to text and also extract the images. Okay, it's putting together a plan. It's working on its own branch now. Okay, I'm gonna pause the video and let it do its thing and come back later. Okay, I did notice that it was going into some investor details. I didn't want it to do that, so I'm going to say, I noticed that you detailed some blog posts related to investor discussions that were in the daily reports. I don't want any of those included in the blog post. Stick to the technical stuff. Review all the blog posts for this and ensure there's no investor interaction commentary. I'm curious to know what it's going to do. Is it going to change the to-do list and add another to-do to clear this up or not? You know how it says cooking? There was one that came across the screen that was, yeah, nah, mate, which is just a typical Australian thing. I thought it was funny. Yeah, it's still doing the crowdfunding thing, which is, I would argue, is an investor related. I might have to just manually, I have to read all this anyway, because I can't rely on the AI not to screw something up. The goal is just to get bulk done. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to pause the recording again. Okay, it looked like it took my comments to heart and is starting to edit the existing blog post to remove investment related things. I'm going to guess. Let's find out. Okay, one thing I didn't think of is that I just stopped this work in 2015, but I didn't obviously put it in the daily reports as to why. But if we're going to write a blog post sequence that has that in the history, we'll need some sort of reason why it suddenly stopped. Presumably it's going to be very pro or positive in its blog posts based on the information and instructions I've given it. So let's see what we can do. Okay, in 2015 I decided to stop work on visual touchscreens. It was basically too expensive and the hardware wasn't up to where it would need to be commercialized. There are also some patents that came out that was going to be a bit of a clash, or arguably a clash. It's never cut and dry with patents anyway. Bottom line, I decided to stop the visual touchscreens investment. Do a bit of web research as to the difficulty of doing hardware early stage ventures and formulate a blog post, puts that in the background, puts the cost question of patents and protecting patents, and describe the fact that I did stop work on visual touchscreens functionality at a date post any of the daily reports, probably in the latest month plus another month. Create an extra blog post that covers all that. It says it's finished, the 15 blog posts. There's that review for investor content. Now it should create another. Oh, it does. It's doing the web search. Yep, that's pretty much what I asked. Okay, I'm going to pause again. Okay, it's finished. And it's so far used $3 worth of credit, but I haven't checked it other than reading this summary of the posts it's created on the branch. But this part and the notes and the images, that's... Okay, I really wanted you to do the image work as well. So the blog posts need to be modified so that the images... Firstly, images need to be copied into the relevant spot, not in the temp folder. They need to be named appropriately given the convention that's already there. And I need you to insert the images into the new blog posts in useful and relevant spots within the blog markdown. My expectation was that you're going to do the work, not me. Okay, let's see how it deals with that. It apologizes for not completing the full scope of work. Okay, so it's using the image name probably from the Word doc, and hope it's going to rename it to something meaningful, as is the existing pattern. I'm going to pause the recording again and catch up when it's further progressed. Okay, so it's finished its work after the missing the images. Oh, come on, puppy, be quiet. It missed the images. I had to prompt it to go back and do the images. And now it said it's done. It said it's done the 16 blog posts for 2014 and 2015 with 59 images referenced. Now, if I have a look at the website, GitHub, it does show the new blog posts for 2015 and 2014 and a bunch of images. And rather than doing a pull request, I want to actually see it. So I've pulled the changes locally, switched to that branch, and run an npm run dev. And so this is the currently published blog, which is latest is, apart from this year's 2012, and running npm run dev, you can see there's a 2014 and 2015 newly created ones, 10 for 2014 and 6 for 2015, and you can see that it's created a conclusion which wasn't in the original daily reports. I've asked for it to word it, so it's probably too wordy, so I'm going to probably edit that. I won't go the pull request route, I'll just work on the branch itself. But I suppose the result of the experiment was pretty useful. I ended up using $4 worth of credit to do that work. So there's a lot of credit to spend for the period that they're available for. It's a couple of weeks, I think. We're just under a couple of weeks. Okay, so that's that summary one. So that was definitely too verbose. And this is the latest 2015 one. Looks pretty good. But I'm going to be going through this. But the goal of getting, a bunch of content that showed the work that was done. So now once this is published, it's in the Google and other search indexes, so people can see the sort of work that I've done, rather than it just being a failure from 2014, 2015 that it's ignored. It shows what has been done and what can be done in other areas, showing the sort of expertise I have. And that's pretty cool. Yeah, but like any other AI, I am going to have to read it all myself and double check for hallucination, but that's a lot less work than going through all this myself. Interesting. Cheers.